There we are. Right. It's probably past everyone's bedtime by now. There you go. So it's probably past everyone's bedtime by now. But I think what I'm wanting to do is pass my 12 to 1 o'clock to tire me out to make sure I get to bed at a reasonable time rather than going to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and whatnot. I'm wanting to have some controversy and have some conversation that I lack because I don't talk enough as it is. But thank you for joining this session and joining me. You all know who I am. I'm the Apple What's It. I'm Jason. I'm me. And today I'm going to be discussing this controversial topic. I'm going to be doing this every night, hopefully, time dependent and depending on other things. Hopefully it'll be every night because that's the goal. And we are going to be talking about what it says on the screen. Is it right to assume that mothers are the primary caregiver when parents separate? Is that right? Is that correct? Why? What? For what reason? I've got a viewpoint on it, and I'll share that shortly. If you've got a viewpoint on it, leave it in the comments. I don't know how I'm going to see them, but if you leave it in the comments, I can see some of them if you comment on the father's rights, family advice, and there's other ways I'll try and get hold of other stuff too. But ultimately, it's just about making sure that we're engaging with each other, and I'm engaging with you all, so you can see who I am and what I am and all that sort of jazz. But let me remind everyone else that the purpose of it is just for a discussion. Yeah, it's to engage, and respectful dialogue is always appreciated. While we may not agree on everything, it's important that we listen to each other and consider each other's viewpoints. And that's really important because within the group, I've had people come to me directly and say that we've been quite restrictive of recent times. And there's not been enough freedom of voice and freedom of expression. And that's why this group exists, is so we as men can come and vent our anger, and women frustrate and put our anger and frustration with the family law system. It used to be just men, but then I, over time, stopped that silly, naive thoughts. And I know now that you get good men and you get bad men, you get bad women, you get good women, and that's just the way of the world. But to open up, let's just start. Because I'm on a script, and I need to try and stay on that script. This first issue that we're going to bring up, is it right to assume that mothers are the primary caregivers? Now, I'm not adverse to controversy, and I'm not inclined to agree with that comment as a whole. But let's look at it as it is. Yeah. The assumption that mothers are primary caregivers and the fathers are the breadwinners is a long-standing and deeply ingrained gender stereotype that has had a significant impact on family dynamics and how we live our lives and how we're taught and how our children are taught in primary school. So that they're instantly indoctrinating our children to pick up this social norm that the mums are the stay-at-home and the mums will go out and cook and clean, and it still gets taught in schools today. That's reflected in child custody. And when we go to court, it's reflected in that massively. And that's why the legal system, in my view, needs to change. The assumption is often reflected in the fact that the parent who keeps a child is generally going to be the mother. That's because of this whole social dynamic, that it's assumed that the mothers are the primary caregivers. Now, that goes as well to be said that the allocation of financial resources during divorce proceedings, what happens there? It goes to, the majority of the time, it will be given to the mother. Again, why? Why, we ask ourselves. Now, the assumption that mothers are the primary caregivers and fathers are the breadwinners has a number of negative consequences for families and individuals. For mothers, it can lead to a lack of recognition and support for the work they do as caregivers, as well as financial hardship and career setbacks for fathers. It can result in a lack of involvement, and in their children's lives, a reduced sense of parental responsibility. How do we tackle that? What's the method forward? How do we do that? What's the answer? Yeah, because I can't see how, if you're instantly going to have these factors in play, that the legal system is the way it is, and it's like, well, hang on a minute, that doesn't make sense. The assumption is obviously based on the decision that child custody and support cases automatically go to the mother, which has its disadvantages, as we know, because what happens with fatherless families. So fatherless families, children get brought up, children, there's no security blanket. There's no so I know for a fact that my daughter sees me and she feels safe when she's with me, and she will come to me when she needs support and when she needs help, because she knows I'll protect her and look after her. That's that security blanket. That's that comfort. It's also discipline as well, because I'm disciplined with my daughter. So, but if I wasn't doing what I'm doing in terms of the relationship that I have with my daughter now and doing what I'm doing that way, I wouldn't be in my daughter's life at all. And then the likelihood that with my daughter would be, she still could be, she's only 14, have a child too young, have a child at an age that it's not conducive to the rest of her life, because that's what she's been taught, or that's what she believes in school, that women are the caregivers. And she used to say when she was in primary school, oh, I'm not going to have an only child. I'm going to have twins. I'm going to have 2 children, and I'm going to stay at home. And I'm like, that's what they're getting taught in primary school. So it's indoctrinated from a very young age. Mothers have obviously been saddled with the majority of the financial burden of raising the children when fatherlessness happens. But then whose fault is that? I know too many dads and too many men who want to be in their children's lives, and it's been made difficult for them. So help me understand, anybody, if you can, any woman out there, that it's assumed to give you the keys to our family life, to our children, to bring them up, as long as we have a part to play in that. But we don't even get the part to play in it. We don't even get the opportunity to play the part in it. Especially, and I don't suppose that's always the woman's fault, because the legal system is set up that way. The legal system is set up to assume that the children will naturally go with the mother. But the dads want to be playing an active part in the children's lives. Yet, why is it too often that, and it's happened to me, and I was having a conversation just the other day about this with somebody, and they feel like they were doing such a good job parenting. They were doing everything. They had an agreement in place. Everything was working well. And there was a life event that took place, and we figured out what the life event is now. And that life event is another relationship. So the residing parent now, because it was a shared care, it was an equally shared care agreement. The residing parent now is making things difficult for him, and all he wants to do is bring up his daughter the way he knows he has been, the way he has been for the last couple of years, and the way he has been successfully with her for the last couple of years. But the life event happens. The life event would be a new relationship. So you enter into a new relationship. The mother enters into a new relationship. The father enters into a new relationship. That then causes friction. That can causes divide. That can causes what was normal then is now changed to being not normal anymore. But then the presumption of the child kept going with the mother instantly gets given in court. Instantly gets given, and then the sadness, that the impact that has on the child is huge. But then no one sees that because they're going off what the generally as what the mum, who's the assumed to be the main primary caregiver. So to address these issues, I think it's important to challenge and dismantle the assumption that mothers are primary caregivers and fathers are the breadwinners. This can be done from a variety of means, I suppose, including education and public awareness campaigns, the promotion of gender-neutral policies and practices, and that of adoption of alternative dispute resolution methods that take a more holistic approach to family dynamics. Now, basically, what that basically says is basically give us equal rights and let the parents work out the difference between them. But you can't, because there's always going to be a conflict. There has to be a conflict. But then why does there have to be a conflict is the question. Why can 2 people not get to the end of a relationship if they've got kids, and then say, do you know what, we've got kids, you've been a bit of a dick, I've been a bit of a dick, let's do what's right for the kids, avoid each other, let's not talk to each other, and you go about it that way, and you drop off the kids at school, pick up the kids from school, and I'll go about it that way. No. That'd be too easy. That'd be too straightforward. Yeah, because as it says on the fucking script that I've been given, to address these issues, it is important to challenge and dismantle the assumption that mothers are the primary caregivers and fathers are the breadwinners. This can be done in a variety of means, including education and public awareness campaigns. No government are going to come up and give you public awareness fucking campaigns, are they? They're not going to say, yeah, let's drive equality, let's drive equal parenting, because I'll tell you why. Because they want divide. The government want divide. The government want people to be at each other's throats, because it takes their world away from what the government are actually doing. While everyone's at conflict with each other, while everyone's arguing with each other, the government will be doing what they want to be doing, because you're too busy in your own little debates going on about what's important to you. And the government will just be doing what they want to do for this one world order, which is coming, by the way. CPD, DPTDC, currencies, all that sort of stuff, that's coming. And when that comes, you're all going to be, you're going to wish that you were paying attention. Let's put it like that. But it says here, look, so the public awareness campaigns, that's never going to happen. The promotion of gender-neutral policies and practices, and the adoption of more alternative dispute resolution methods that take a more holistic approach to family dynamics. Why are the courts not doing that? Why have I got someone who's writing scripts for me that takes my fucking words and puts them into a much more sensible way, and he does that so well? And why are we able to do that as normal human beings, but the government or the people who claim to run the country and claim to run the world don't? Why is that? So look, ultimately, in conclusion, the assumption that mothers are primary caregivers and the fathers are breadwinners is a harmful and outdated gender stereotype that has had a negative impact on families and the legal system. By challenging and dismantling this assumption, we can create a more fair and equitable society for all. That's very fucking well put. Who fucking wrote that? Thank you. See, I can write sensibly. So ultimately, that's very sensible, and that is what we need to be driving towards. But people are too busy fighting with each other, because that's what the stereotype, that's what the norm says. So fathers of justice, what they say. Fucking go in there, be angry, be swearing, stand up for your grounds, be your man, be the man. Well, yeah, be the man, be the modern man. Let's not fucking keep fighting. Let's take the moral high ground, and let's fucking give a little bit of love, and let's give a little bit of empathy, and let's give a little bit of sacrifice, and let's give a little bit of compromise, and let's give a little bit of being humble and learning and educating ourselves, and then taking responsibility for our actions and for any errors of judgment that we may or not have made. And if you do that, take the argument away, then what have you got? Probably a better, more sensible environment for your children, probably. But like I say, that's not what people want. People want divide, people want to fight, and people want you fighting with each other. There's too many examples that I have right now of solicitors, and someone's criticizing me. I don't give a shit. I've done this thing on TikTok, this video, and you've probably seen it on Facebook somewhere as well, but I've done this thing on there, and I'm out of abuse I'm getting from solicitors saying some of the stuff I'm saying. I'm not being funny. It's fact. You're going to get good solicitors. You're going to get bad solicitors. Same as you're going to get good men, you're going to get bad men. You're going to get good women, you're going to get bad women. It's fact. You've got bad solicitors. You've got smelly solicitors out there. Same as you've got smelly judges out there. You've got smelly policemen out there. You've got smelly people who are fucking smelly, people who are doing things wrong, people who will take advantage of the position that they're in. And people can't say it does not happen, because it does, because you get it in every walk of life. I've managed people. I've seen people come into pubs, into retail environments, and you can see the good people and you can see the bad people. You can smell them out straight away. You can see from their behaviours, and you're going to get the same with every walk of life. Policemen, firemen, ambulance people, you name it. You're going to get good people. You're going to get bad people. But why can we not accept that with solicitors? Because solicitors are getting angry at me and moaning at me for fucking pointing out some facts that you get smelly solicitors, and we do get smelly solicitors. There's no two ways about it. And those who would want to deny that it'd be silly to do so, because you'd be naive, you'd be stupid, you'd be absolutely fucking stupid. But who am I? What do I know? What do I know? What do I know? No, I know nothing. I know nothing. That one. So we're going to try something now as well. So what we're going to do, I'm going to just We're going to come on to this next touching subject, which is going to be, it's difficult for me. I didn't want to do this. It was someone else's idea. And this next subject is it domestic abuse if your partner, wife or husband, withholds sex from you? Is it? Now, to help me answer this question, I'm relying on Google because I'm very wary of this question. And because no one is here, you're probably all sleeping in bed, I'm giving you a quick what it should be like. Google will be the audience, and when you wake up in the morning and you watch this, whether it be on YouTube, because it's only going to be on Facebook for 24 hours, then it's getting removed, then it'll go on to YouTube. And by the way, can you go onto my YouTube channel? Can you follow me, subscribe, and do what you need to do on that sort of stuff? Because it'd be nice if you did, because that's where everything's going to end up sooner or later. Okay, so we're going back to this. Right, is it? I'm relying on Google for this, and then I'm gonna give you my opinion afterwards. Is it domestic abuse if my partner, and we're going to say my girlfriend, my wife, if my wife withholds sex by being a naughty boy, and I went out for a beer and I didn't come home in time, sex because I went out for a beer and didn't come back at 9 o'clock. 9 p.m. the agreed time. Let's see what Google has to say. Okay. I thought so. So look, let's put it like this. Yeah, it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon for couples to have arguments and have disagreements. That's anyone who goes into family court setting, anyone who goes into a family court setting or a scenario like that and says they've never had an argument with their girlfriend or wife or husband or fucking partner or boyfriend or whatever the case might be, you're being stupid, right? You're being stupid because every single customer, every single client, every single person, every single person, me, you, judges, everybody, every cunt in this world has got and it's going to have a fucking argument with someone in their with their partner. Yeah, that's going to be. And if you can't go through life like a monk, then I wish you well. That's great, and I'm really happy for you. But generally, as a rule of thumb, you're going to have had an argument with your partner at one stage sooner or later in your lifetime. Yeah. There's a healthy amount of arguments and there's an unhealthy, toxic amount. I think we know what balance and side we want to be on, yeah? It's not uncommon for couples to have disagreements, and the matters such as having sex is going to be obviously on them. Both partners need to be able to communicate openly and honestly about what they are feeling and why they feel that way. And that's generally where the shit goes wrong, because you'll be saying, like, do you know what, I want sex. And I want sex because I'm hungry for it, and I'm hungry for it, and that's why I need to be working all day and I need some sex. And they're going to be like, well, I'm not in the mood for sex right now. I'm not really in the mood for it. So, hang on, where's the issue? What's going on? You're withholding it. But basically, you need to communicate with each other about their needs and expectations. So don't go getting married. Don't be going and getting married and saying, I want to be having sex at least 3 times a week. And then you get married and you're not even having it once a month. Because you've been married under false pretenses. Just saying. Right? However, withholding sex as a form of punishment or coercion is not acceptable, and could be considered as a form of emotional abuse. There we are, folks. There we are. It is important for both partners to respect each other's boundaries and communicate openly and honestly about their needs and concerns. If you're concerned with your wife is using sex as a means of controlling or punishing you, it may be helpful to seek support from a therapist or a counsellor. Or if you're going through fucking family court and you're getting the book thrown at you for bullshit that's not even fucking true, and you can actually say she's held sex from me because she wanted to punish me when she was giving me the silent treatment, which I've had, and I didn't realise it was abuse. And I got made out to some sort of scumbag because I wanted to, so I didn't realise I was in the bad books. I remember I've had it with both my girlfriends actually. Like mate, I'm not going to name because she's done really nothing to harm me in a negative way. But my girlfriend did after the one relationship I've had, that was a sexual relationship. The one relationship I've had since my divorce was was held against me. Sex was held against me because I was punishing me. Lindsay punished me for fucking not having any sex. I was getting stonewalled and silent treatment for fucking weeks at a time, and that's emotional abuse. And that's where you should be using this stuff, yeah, because it is emotional abuse, and it happens a lot. So, is it abuse if your partner, either way, husband or wife, withholds sex? Yes, it is abuse. As far as I'm concerned, yes, it is. It shouldn't be used against you. It shouldn't be used as a power to hold you up or to entice you or to encourage you to do something. It's abuse. You either have sex or you don't have sex. And if you don't have sex and you don't have sex, you need to be like, your relationship should not be in control. No one should have any element of control over the other person. There should be no control there whatsoever. Yeah, and if someone's using sex, and don't get me wrong, role playing and that sort of stuff, that's one thing. But that's in agreement with each other. Not just when you're being lorded over you and don't touch me and you're being given the silent treatment. That for me must be seen as abuse, especially if it's happening more than once, and then you're getting made out that it's your fault that that there's an argument that ensues afterwards, because you've got been given to lead on, and then suddenly you're leading on, and then it's getting this silent treatment. I don't want to be causing wars or anything like that. It's not necessary, but ultimately, based on one Google search, which ultimately come up with the answer that I wanted to give in the first place. It's there. It's obvious. Yeah. So there you go. That's what it is. Withholding sex as a form of punishment or coercion is not acceptable. Now, ladies, what have you got to say now? And men, because men might have, you might have men out there with super, like, tales and things, and ultimately the woman might be gagging for it, and he might be like, "Nah, sorry, you've been a bit of a bad boy to a bad girl today. Not going to have, you're not going to have any of my sausage. You need to go make me some breakfast. Once you make me some breakfast, maybe I'll consider it." That's coercion. That's control. Yeah. So just because it's a difficult subject to talk about, that doesn't mean we shouldn't talk about it. And so we're speaking about it. There we are. Touchy subject, but we've got there. We've got through it, and we did it in the 30 minutes that I assigned myself. But this is going to be happening every night. I'm going to think of 2 controversial topics that I'm going to address, and then we're going to address them over a 30-minute, 15 minutes on each topic. And over time, hopefully, people will get involved and either disagree with me or agree with me. Leave it in the comments wherever you're viewing this while it's on Facebook, because it's going to be getting transferred over to YouTube. So you won't be able to see it on Facebook, so it will catch up, will be available on YouTube, but then we'll be doing the lives on the Facebook. I have a theory, I have a plan. Hopefully it goes that way. We'll see. But yeah, so is it right to assume mothers are the primary caregivers? No, it's not right that we assume mothers are the primary caregivers, because it fucks everything up, because the mothers fuck everything up, because there's the primary caregivers. Statistically, they are shit at bringing up children. Don't try to take my word for it. It's fact. In fact, let's ask Google one last time. What are the statistics? What are the statistics for single? What are the statistics for single mums bringing up children to be successful? I don't know if that's the right worded way, but we'll find out if it is or not. Please, Google, tell me the answer. Tell me the answer, Google. Tell me. Is it if it provides statistics on single mothers? Amazing. Okay. Statistically, it's shown that it's difficult to provide stats on the success overall generalization of what do you call success, yeah? Because success can be defined and measured in 2 different things, in many different ways. There are factors that can impact the child's success, and including the individual characteristics of that said can be determined as what's successful and what's not. So research has shown, though, that children who are raised by single mothers are likely to be less successful than those who are raised by two parents. Single mothers face unique challenges, including financial difficulties and the need to balance work and parenting responsibilities. But that said, many are able to provide a loving and supportive home environment for their children. That's cool. They can provide a loving and supportive environment for their children, but how many of those children end up being impregnated at a young age? Too many. How many of them children are the kids go into knife and gang crime? Too many. If the dad was able to bring up the children by himself with single dad stats versus single mum stats, yeah, single dad versus single mum, single dad versus single mum. On children with social problems. And then I've got 4 minutes left on this. Yeah, you can say goodbye. So, right? So, okay, now we've got something here, right? Because I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but I do know that the mums struggle with discipline, and they struggle with being able to control the children, and they struggle. And this is statistically, it's fact. Research has shown this, and it's. If I was more knowledgeable, fuck your knowledge. Pick up as you go along. Right. So so children with a strong level, as parents separated families, like stats show that children who maintain contact with the father are more likely to be successful at school, more likely to have a healthy social life, and to be disciplined when it comes to making right decisions within their peer groups. Children who are not maintaining the relationship with the parent, the father, are more likely to become members of gangs, drugs, theft, and more likely to be incarcerated. There's more people incarcerated in prison from single parent families than there are of parents when both children are cared for and supported by a successful co-parenting family. Therefore, it is wrong to assume that mothers should be the primary caregivers because fathers are needed equally. What it should be that the presumption of equal care should be given to in situations when it's safe to do so, when it's safe, and that doesn't mean the bullshit allegations that you get. But how do you get away from that? How do you get away from the bullshit allegations that are made from generally the mum? How do you get away from them bullshit allegations? And because the allegations come through, that's what stops the presumption of 50-50. That's what stops the equal presumption of shared care. Then that goes down the whole other cycle of bullshit because you have to justify and defend yourself. And while you're doing all that, it takes time, and that's time you're not spending with your child. That's time that impacts your relationship with your child, because that's the time that the mum is influencing and brainwashing the child. But then what's to say that if that wasn't given to the dad wouldn't necessarily do the same thing? Because I've seen cases, I've worked on cases, I've worked for people who have had the residency given to them. They've then gone power hungry, and they've been really controlling and controlled what the mum can and can't do with the children. Which again, I stopped working for them after that period of time because I said it's not right. But then it's the power. It's the power. That's what it is. People get given a little bit of power, and I think this goes right back to what I said at the very beginning. This script is good. This goes back to what I said at the very beginning, and that is, people with power get greedy and stop people from talking. And people were talking in the group about and coming to me about saying, "Oh, your mods and admins are stopping people from talking and this and that," and it goes back to the power thing. As I said this to somebody in one of my admins and mods, whatever, that's not an admin or mod anymore. I said this to that. I said this. It's the power that God's gone to your head. That's what it is. So whoever has the power. So there's wrong to assume that either parent should be given the primary caregiver role, because the power will go to their head naturally, because that's what it does as human nature. So the power is going to your head. So therefore, it'd be wrong to give either of them the right to be the primary caregiver, make sure they both got it equally when it's safe to do so. Which means you have to change the whole fucking system setup, but that's what they have to do. I'm calling for family law reform. 100%. We need to reform shit. Yeah. So is it right to assume mothers are the primary caregivers? No, it's not right. Why? Because it should be set out equally when it's safe to do so. And that means you need to get someone to go into these families early doors when the allegations are first made, when it's hot off the press, and fucking examine, investigate, interview the kids, do whatever, but get it all done within the fucking first week. Get it all done within the first month. And then make sure that time that the dad gets away from the children because of the false allegations is whittled right down. And then you wouldn't have. And then you've got Kafkas and shit going into the people who are overrun anyway. They're overrun. But if you get them to go to one family each time, each week, they've got a week with each fucking family that comes in. When it's serious allegations like that shit, you would fucking take away the time of it, because you take away that time they've got in family court, and then you get the dad or the person with the allegations made against them can be managed or supported effectively, and the person making the false allegations can be managed and fucking criminalized, as far as I'm concerned, because the false allegations lead to fucking bullshit and a life of hell for people, and that there needs to be fucking not fucking forgotten. Yeah, so that's what we need to do. So that's why it's wrong for mothers to be presumed the primary caregivers. And is it domestic abuse if your partner or wife, that being your wife or husband, withhold sex? Yes, it is abuse. Yes, it is. Especially if it's done in a way that's coercion and controlling. So basically, it's a form of punishment. It's abuse. So just putting it out there, folks. Put that on your C100 and smoke it. And on that note, thank you for watching our first be ready to start. I've already been fucking doing it for however long. Here's what I'm confused about, what? Be ready to start. Then everything, I've already fucking started it. What the fuck? I don't understand. Who knows? Who knows how this shit works? Who knows? But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. On that note, peace and love, liar's glove, all day long. And from there, oh, invisible. Liar's glove, peace and love. Stay strong, look after each other, and I hopefully see you all tomorrow night, and I'll get figuring out why it's going to try and link these things together. But it's all a learning curve. Peace and love, peace and love.